Warning. The following video is not intended for an audience under the age of 13. Do not watch the video without a guardian or parent present. That is all.
So I only just learned that the fandom apparently considers Transformers Prime to be divisive. And my initial reaction to this was, really? TF Prime is considered divisive? I mean, from what I've watched, it's actually fairly decent. It's well animated and the designs look good. Definitely not as cluttered as War for Cybertron and, well, the Babe films, that's for certain. Then, of course, I remembered, oh, yeah, I still haven't seen Prime past the first few episodes. You know what, I'm not gonna watch it. It's too late now. Besides, even if I do try and watch the rest of the series, I'm just gonna end up getting impatient and skipping over half of the episode runtime. Just like I did with every other show I've ever seen in my life. However, to my understanding, Prime had a lot fewer figures released to coincide with it than, say, Energon, or really any of the shows that had come before it. And a lot of the shows that have come since it, come to think of it. And in fact, once the series hit Beast Hunters, we got a lot more molds that were characters that weren't in the show. Granted, most of them were Predacons, and honestly, I'm not sure why we didn't have more characters in the show. And it really genuinely surprises me that we didn't get a lot of toy-exclusive characters in the early days of the Prime line. Or is it surprising to me? At the risk of sounding analytically cliche at this point, you see here, from what I've been told, the Prime line was a victim of a spike in the prices of oil that happened around the time it was released. That meant figures had to get smaller and less complex. I don't know. The only information I have supporting this claim is, well, a DM I had with my friend Dr. Lockdown, and while honestly, I do want to believe him, I found exactly jack all to support this on TF Wiki, which is surprising considering that TF Wiki usually has all of the answers! But even in spite of its flaws, it still delivered a few quality molds. And it may even have delivered us one of the best molds in the entire past decade. By which I of course mean, salutations denizens of the internet, I'm Firebite27, and let us commence our analysis of Transformers Prime, Robots in Disguise, Decepticon Dead End. If it isn't obvious just by looking at it, this is a straight up retool / repaint of Prime Wheeljack. And shockingly, this is the closest we've ever come to a G2 homage without actually being a G2 homage. By which I of course mean that these colors are an absolute gas. Gas-salute. However, unlike Wheeljack, the rear lights don't seem to be painted. But unlike a lot of figures, I actually wondered what this alt mode was based off of. But considering that my knowledge of vehicles is, well, extremely limited, I had to turn to someone with actual expertise in this area. Especially since the closest I came to identifying this alt mode was a fusion between the Lamborghini Countach. So after about 5 minutes of research, I turned my efforts northward for external support. I decided to contact the TF reviewer community's resident alt mode identification expert, the Lazy Eyebrow. If you are unfamiliar with his work, he's essentially a reviewer like me, except his reviews are almost always done in stop motion. He's also a fairly big stickler for vehicle mode accuracy and scaling, as well as being a massive influence on my channel, along with Dr. Lockdown and Theo Adams. But that's really besides the point. He politely informed me that the alt mode for Dead End, and by extension Wheeljack, are based off of a Lancia Stratos concept car, the Phenomenon. But unfortunately, much like movie Sideswipe, this was a concept car that remained a concept car. No idea why this car wasn't made. That is, unless the actual concept car had this weird forklift saber mode. Now, before anyone asks if forklifts are truly evil or why a Decepticon would want to impersonate one, just remember,
forklifts have no honor.
They tried to kill me with a forklift, huzzah!
and thanks to all of the wheels being pinned, it rolls magnificently. Okay, why did I do a weird acapella doot-de-doo version of Wish in the Dark from Kamen Rider X-Aid? Whatever. If the katanas didn't remove any street legality this vehicle mode could have theoretically had, then, well, the twin blasters from Astro Train certainly will. I could also see the katanas getting some use from these weapon ports, but, well, they don't really look like they'd be combat effective. I mean, unless Laserbeak uses it as a little perch. Anyways, let's do the size comparisons. Here's Prime Dead End next to last week's review, Tailgate and Cyclonus, Earthrise Wheeljack, RID 2015 Super Optimus, Combiner Force Soundwave, Blur, Siege Barricade, Earthrise Grapple, who Dead End defeated in last week's Twitter poll. In fact, he's still a tad salty over it. A standard Kutama, a standard can of sparkling water, and Broadside. Now, Dead End, transform! In his robot mode, Dead End is incredibly lanky, almost gorilla-ish in shape. But at the same time he's zombie-like, with an emaciated face and a jaw with a light-piped scream. Those of you who have seen last year's top 12 will know that I called him a zombie samurai voodoo man. But unlike most zombies, he looks incredibly agile. And because I felt obligated to make this joke, here's Naruto running Dead End. We are fighting Takami! But even in spite of my jests, Dead End's robot mode looks lethal. Like, forget Wild Rider stealing the matrix of leadership. Dead End will do it twice as fast, and also give you the hate plague. Decapitation! It's also worth mentioning that the transformation feels extremely similar to Blur. As in, it feels like the Blur mold is a dumbed-down Dead End for 5-year-olds who can't figure anything out without their parents' help. Though a compliment that I can give it is that it matches aesthetics with the RID line fairly well. Say what you will about the show's conclusion, but I think we can agree that the writing in Prime is superior to RID 2015 in every conceivable way. I mean, at least Prime didn't feel like it was intentionally insulting its viewers' intelligence. And you may remember me saying that Barricade felt like a rebooted version of Dead End, so I have prepared this gag. So, you're the kid they made to replace me, huh? I mean, I was originally a Micromaster, so I don't know. I'm just glad to be a repaint now, or just have a big, like, figure in general. Unacceptable! But overall, I gotta say, Dead End gives me a serious Dark Knight / evil samurai vibe. Like a Ronin corrupted by the spirit of a dark yokai. Heck, he even feels a bit like Raiden from Metal Gear Rising, weirdly enough. But what is any true Knight of Darkness without his noble steed? Hi-ho, Silva, away! Sir, my name is Vertebrake. The only two things I really don't like about this figure are the fact that it doesn't have a bicep swivel or a waist swivel. Other than that, perfect. But in any case, let's do a few more size comparisons before we wrap this thing up. Here's Dead End next to Tailgate and Cyclonus, Earthrise Wheeljack, Super Optimus, Soundwave, Blur, Siege Barricade, Earthrise Grapple, a standard can of sparkling water, a standard Kutama, and Broadside. Overall, I feel as though merely recommending this figure is slightly redundant. Or rather, the mold in general. Which is to say, this mold is very nearly flawless. But considering that its release was considered at a bit of a, well, dark age for Transformers collecting, I can give it a pass. And overall, I can say with confidence that this figure has more than earned its ranking of an 8.5 out of 10. I doubt this fandom will ever be able to agree on whether or not Prime was actually good or not. but I hope we can all at least agree that this mold is one of the best that we were given during its run. So with that being said, please remember to like this video. Share it with your friends. Of course, if you have not already, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. And of course, check out my Ko-fi page, linked in the description, as well as my Teespring Store, also linked in the description. The Teespring Store has a variety of logos, prints, and designs made by yours truly, and you can purchase them for reasonable prices, and in the process of buying my merchandise, you will also be supporting me. In fact, I have only just recently released 2 designs relevant to this channel. The first design relevant to this channel is this one, which is based off of the opening animation title cards. And the second design available is this picture of Maya Trix, which is titled, Definitely Not a Morning Bot, which I believe all of you might find a bit humorous. So if you want either of these designs, and also to support me financially, go to Teesprings and purchase some of my merch, or make a direct donation on Ko-fi. Either way, financial support is appreciated, and will earn you one shout out at the end of my videos. So with that being said, this is Firebyte27, over and out. And remember,